everybody and welcome to the video. So today I figured I would finally sit down and I would make my video on whether or not I believe that Sora from Kingdom Hearts legitimately has a chance to make it into Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. For those of you guys who don't know, last week, Shinji Hashimoto, the co-director of the Kingdom Hearts series, actually replied yes to a fan who tweeted Sora's splash screen, you know, his fan-made, what people think it would be like if he made it into the game. And he acknowledged it and he said yes. And ever since then, I've been seeing Sora popping up on a ton of leaks, and although there are a lot of people hopping on the Sora bandwagon, there are still a lot of non-believers and a lot of people that believe that Sora cannot make it into this game. So going off of that, I would just also like to point out that Vergeman, the most reliable, the most credible leaker that we have for Smash Ultimate thus far, who has predicted absolutely every single thing pretty much spot on, says that we only have 3 characters left that he knows of right now. So that would be Incineroar from Pokemon Sun and Moon, that would be Ken from Street Fighter as an Echo Fighter for Ryu, and then an unknown Square Enix character. So if you really look at that right now, no matter how much people want Skull Kid or Shadow or anybody else, Sora is technically the most, I guess, likely character at this point, given the fact that he's actually a Square Enix character. So with that being said, I mean, I feel like this already pretty much has a solid argument to begin with. So basically what this video is going to be about is I'm going to just talk about the few roadblocks for Sora when it comes to making it into Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. So this video is not going to be about what I think Sora's moveset would be, whether or not he would be a good fighter or not, because I think that's pretty obvious, but if anything, I can make another video on that if people like this video enough. So yeah, this video is just going to be going over the couple roadblocks that Sora may face while getting into Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. So before I made this video, I actually came up with a list of 2 big things that I'm going to go over. The first thing is going to be Disney versus Square Enix. Who owns Sora? Because that is the go-to pulling the rabbit out of the hat argument that everybody brings up. So I'm going to be dissecting that and basically proving that that argument holds no value. And then the second one sort of has 2 parts, so I guess I'm going to be talking about 3 parts, but these 2 things sort of go together, so I just put them in one category, but they're separate, and okay, you know what, whatever. So basically I'm just going to be going over Sora's general popularity, and then I'm going to segue into his competition, and whether or not Sora's popularity can legitimately outweigh his competition when it comes to who out of the Square Enix characters that we are able to choose from, who are the most likely ones, whether or not he can beat them and actually be the new Square rep for Smash Ultimate. So along with a bunch of other YouTubers, HMK was actually invited out by Square Enix to go play Kingdom Hearts 3 back in the spring of 2018. Now, HMK is a very reputable and reliable source when it comes to this stuff, and he's very knowledgeable about the subject because HMK actually made a video on this entire subject, and I'm going to leave it down below if you guys want to check it out and hear from his point of view. So I'm not going to go over his entire video, obviously. I'm just going to pull out the key points that just help fuel the argument that Sora is legitimately able to make it into Smash. So at this event, there were actually a lot of Square Enix and Disney reps, and HMK was actually able to speak to Justin Scarponi, who is actually the Vice President and General Manager of Disney Japan. So he was able to actually ask him a bunch of questions in terms of Sora and, you know, who owns him, and then he segues into Smash. So basically, in a nutshell, he found out that legally Sora belongs to Disney, but they do not actually decide where he goes and what he does. So even though Disney owns Sora legally, that doesn't necessarily mean that they control what he does or where he goes. That is actually up to Tetsuya Nomura and the rest of Square Enix. They're actually the ones that are in charge of Sora and where he goes and what he does. Now in HMK's video, there's actually 4 main points that I would like to discuss that basically is the criteria for Sora having a chance of making it into Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. The first thing is that Nintendo needs to approach Square Enix. The second one is that fans need to show interest in Sora being in the game. The third thing is that Tetsuya Nomura and the rest of Square Enix must say yes. And then the fourth thing is that the game, the property that Sora is placed in, cannot betray Sora's character or the themes of Kingdom Hearts. So when it comes to the first thing in regards to Nintendo needing to ask Tetsuya Nomura and Square Enix, we don't know that. We won't know that until the game comes out, so I can't necessarily discuss this. Like I said, we just won't know until, obviously, whether or not Sora is revealed or not. The second thing is that fans need to show interest, and I think that it is blindly obvious that the fans of Kingdom Hearts definitely want Sora in Smash. There's so many fan arts, there's so many just concepts of what Sora's moveset would be and what he'd be able to do and what his splash screen or what his trailer would be. It would just be, there's so much interest and there's so much love for Sora being in Smash. So I think that this second point is definitely fulfilled already. Not to mention that Sora was actually a playable character in Super Smash Flash. So if that doesn't show fan interest where he was literally put into a fan game, then I don't know what is. So now the third thing being that Nomura and the rest of Square Enix need to say yes to the idea. Since we sort of had Shinji Hashimoto's response to this fan with the splash screen and the tweet, he's showing interest. We haven't heard anything from Tetsuya Nomura and the rest of Square Enix as far as I'm aware of, but the fact that one of the co-directors acknowledged it and he wants him in the game, I think that that's pretty good. That's the best thing that we could possibly have right now, and yeah, so there you go. So now the fourth thing that we have is that Sora cannot betray his character, or the property that he's being placed into cannot betray the themes of Kingdom Hearts. So if we look at Smash Brothers, it's a fighting game. And although Kingdom Hearts isn't a fighting game, Kingdom Hearts sort of has a lot of fighting. That's the main mechanic of the game. It's about fighting evil, fighting the darkness, and it's about friendship. And if you also think about it, Kingdom Hearts is about crossovers. Kingdom Hearts literally started as a crossover of Final Fantasy and Disney. Super Smash Brothers is legitimately the greatest crossover in video game history, aside from Kingdom Hearts. But you know what I mean. Like, it is just, it's a hall of fame of video game history. It's like a legitimate physical manifestation of a video game hall of fame. And since this game's all about crossovers, I think that, you know, that's one of the biggest important themes of Kingdom Hearts. So with all that being said, in terms of the first point, we don't know, so that's definitely not fulfilled. For the second point, that is 100% fulfilled. I can definitely give that the green light. For the third point, I'll give it like a half point, I guess, because we have gotten some sort of confirmation that the people high up on the team for Kingdom Hearts have acknowledged the fact that Sora is in demand for Kingdom Hearts, and they would like that. So I'm just going to give it a half point because we don't actually have confirmation from Nomura or an overwhelming number of people from Square Enix that want him in the game. And then the fourth one, I'm going to give this a win as well, because I don't think Super Smash Bros. Portrays the themes of Kingdom Hearts or Sora's content whatsoever. So yeah, I'm going to give that the green light. So before I move on from this point, I would just like to reinstate that this entire argument was basically Disney versus Square Enix. Who owns Sora? Who decides what Sora does? Disney owns Sora, but Square Enix is ultimately the deciding factor of where he goes and what he does. And if that were the case, if they had to decide whether or not Sora was going to be placed in a game or not, those 4 points, we have basically 3 out of 4 of them filled out. And if you even just remove Nintendo needing to ask, we'll never know that. So as of right now, we basically have hits on all 3 of the things we could possibly know before the game comes out. So the argument that Disney versus Square Enix, Sora can't make it in because of Disney, is an awful argument, and that is completely debunked as of this point. Again, if you guys would like more information on this and you want more detail on it, please check out HMK's video. He goes super into detail. It's an awesome video, and he's an awesome YouTuber. So please go check that video out. And yeah, thank you HMK for all the information. You've helped a lot with the Sora for Smash argument. So with the first half of my video taken out, let's go on to the second half. So just as a refresher, the second half of my video is going to be broken up into 2 parts, sort of. I'm going to have 2A and 2B. 2A is going to be discussing Sora's general popularity and basically just that in a nutshell. In 2B, I'm going to segue off of that, and I'm going to talk about Sora's general popularity. I'm going to compare it against his competition in terms of other possible Square Enix reps that we can get instead of Sora. So let's discuss Sora's popularity. For those of you guys who don't know, Kingdom Hearts is actually a huge gaming franchise that goes beyond just Kingdom Hearts 1 and Kingdom Hearts 2 and Kingdom Hearts 3. There have been several games in between that have expanded the story and have kept the general fan base entertained and the fan base just growing over the past 10-15 years. Kingdom Hearts has had many private events and many public events that have celebrated the series and its franchise. So not only just the Kingdom Hearts premiere event, we've had the Kingdom Hearts Dandelion event celebrating the mobile game. We've had the Kingdom Hearts orchestra concerts that have been all over the world performing the music and celebrating just Kingdom Hearts in general. There have been countless times in Japan where the Square Enix Cafe and the train stations in Japan have been decorated in Kingdom Hearts merchandise. There are also times where it's shown up at events like Disney events like D23 and all that other stuff. There have been so many different celebrations for Kingdom Hearts across the world where I feel like Kingdom Hearts' popularity is universally accepted at this point. And just for the cherry on top, Kingdom Hearts 3 won pretty much every single award that they possibly could have at E3. That is impressive, and if that's not people that are interested in the game, or people that are interested in the franchise, or people that are just generally excited for Kingdom Hearts 3 and just in general Kingdom Hearts, that's pretty much as black and white as it can possibly get. I think a lot of people underestimate the Kingdom Hearts series popularity and Sora's popularity in general. But with all that being said, I would like to segue into the 2B section of this topic, where I'm going to be talking about Sora's competition. So there are 3 fighters that I'm going to go over, 2 of which would be probably most likely newcomers, and then 1 that would be an Echo Fighter. The Echo Fighter, I guess, is sort of an exception, but, you know, a square rep is a square rep. So the first character that I'm going to go over is not as popular as the other 2. I mean, I haven't seen many people discussing this specific character, but it's somebody that I've personally thought of just because of the whole theme that's going on with Smash Ultimate when it comes to heroes versus villains. I think that Square Enix, I think it'd be really cool for them to have a villain. So I would pick Sephiroth from Final Fantasy VII. So the only reason why I would pick Sephiroth over Sora is because he is without a doubt more popular than Sora. He's part of Final Fantasy VII, which is one of the biggest video games of all time. And we already have Cloud in the game to begin with, so there's already Final Fantasy VII representation. However, I think that programming Sephiroth into the game would be a nightmare. I mean, we already know that there were issues with Ridley in terms of his size. Boy, have you seen Sephiroth's sword? Designing a moveset for Sephiroth would be an absolute nightmare. And as much as I would love Sephiroth and as high as his popularity is, just in terms of the Smash community in general, he's not popping up a whole lot, and as iconic as he is, I just think Sora would beat him in terms of moveset complexity, and I just think Sora would just be a lot more basic to program into the game than Sephiroth. Okay, so moving on to the second fighter, I would pick Zack as an Echo Fighter for Cloud instead of Sora. The reason why I think that Zack could potentially make it in over Sora is because, well, relevance. I forgot to mention this with Sephiroth, but since Final Fantasy VII Remake is coming out, that makes all those characters fairly relevant. So Sephiroth gets a leg to stand on because of that, and Zack gets a leg to stand on because of that. However, I feel like Sephiroth is much more iconic than Zack, and he's much more recognizable than Zack, and more people would know more about Sephiroth than Zack. And going off of that, I think that Sora is generally more popular than Zack as well. All Zack really has is that he would be incredibly easy to put into the game. He would be a straight up Echo Fighter of Cloud. He might have a few differences, but generally Zack fights like Cloud. So overall, I feel like I just don't think Zack is popular enough. I think that Sora has a lot more popularity than Zack, and if we're talking about newcomers, this just means that Sora beats him overall. So I figured I would just propose the Zack argument. In general, Zack wouldn't be a newcomer, he would be an Echo Fighter. So that's why I think that Sora would beat him in the newcomer category. I have been dreading this part of the video. Okay guys, pretty obvious. In terms of Square Enix characters, I'm going to move away from Final Fantasy a little bit. I'm going to go to the giant wall that Sora potentially might not be able to climb, but I think I have enough argument. It's Geno. Geno from Super Mario RPG is the big problem for Sora making it into the game. If we're going to get one Square Enix rep, Geno will probably beat Sora just because of his general popularity. Ridley, King K. Rool, and Geno have been the trifecta since the early days of Smash Bros. History. We already have 2 of them. I think it's fairly likely that we might actually get Geno. Worldwide, Geno is generally much more popular than Sora. I can even admit that. However, I think people seriously underestimate how popular Sora is in Japan. Like I said before, they literally decorate public locations in Kingdom Hearts stuff, and they celebrate, you know, Sora and the rest of the Kingdom Hearts gang. Sora is just so popular in Japan, and I just feel like Sora's overall relevance kills Geno in that respect. Even though Geno is a retro character and he's nostalgic and he's popular, relevance-wise, I can't see Geno beating Sora in terms of relevancy. Obviously, there's the core gamers. There's the people that have been, that played Super Mario RPG, people that recognize Geno. However, a lot of the younger crowd, they're not going to recognize Geno. They're not going to know who Geno is. There's going to be a lump sum of that crowd, if not almost all of them, that would recognize Sora over Geno. Don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to knock Geno. If Geno made it into the game, I would be happy just for the fact that we actually got a fan game where all the fans everywhere got all the characters that they wanted. We got the big three. And Geno's inclusion would be awesome. But I'm just trying to compare it to Sora, and I just think that generally, if they were going to do this on a marketing standpoint, I think that Sora would just be a better move. Sora has way more going for him at this point. And even back in 2015 when the ballot was going on, although Geno was much more popular, Sora just has more going for him in general. We have Kingdom Hearts 3 coming out shortly after Smash comes out. And I just think that it would just make more sense on a marketing standpoint to have Sora over Geno. So again, although Geno worldwide overall is probably much more requested and much more popular than Sora, I think that the relevance of Geno I think Sora takes it. I mean, I think it's fairly obvious that Sora takes it. Geno hasn't been in a game in the longest time, and the only time he really did appear was in a Super Mario Bros. Title, Super Mario Superstar Saga, for the Game Boy Advance, and he just appeared as a little cameo in a minigame. He wasn't even really in the game. So really, Geno's only history is Super Mario RPG and the love for him that the fans have. Whereas Sora has an entire franchise that is built over the past 15 years, and he has a game coming out very soon, which won hundreds of awards, not hundreds, but you know what I mean, which is just, it's just received so much hype and had so much development time where so many people are just so excited for the game. So in terms of relevance and overall just hype for the future, I think Sora takes it. I would also just like to point out that although this is a fan game and a lot of the fans are able to predict, you know, which character's making it or not, because it's a fan game, it's basically, you know, Sakurai is designing this game based on the fans. We haven't had that big shock value reveal. We haven't had something where people are like, what? We didn't see that coming. What? Like, I just think that Sora would be that giant, wow, they did it type of moment. Like, you know, King K. Rool, it was hype. Obviously, that was great. Isabelle, that was hype. You know, we all expected those two characters. But Sora would just be that giant, there's no way they just did that type of moment. Like, nobody in general would see that coming. And I think that Geno overall is just a safe pick. And, I mean, hey, who's to say we can't get both? No one's saying we can't get both. If we got both, everybody's happy. Okay guys, so with all that being said, we have come to the end of the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please don't forget to let me know down below what you guys think about Sora's potential inclusion. Please let me know whether or not this swayed your opinion or if this got you more hyped for Sora's potential inclusion in Smash, because I would really like to know and have a conversation with you guys down below. So don't forget to like the video, and most importantly, subscribe to my channel for more Smash and Kingdom Hearts content. And until the next video, I will catch you all later. Bye bye.